Hello Internet, and welcome to my live reaction for Yona of the Dawn, chapter 221. When we last left our heroes, Kye-Sook and Jae-ha continued their charge towards the human catapult. Jae-ha was able to destroy it pretty easily. Kye-Sook took a wound in his dragon hand, but beyond that, the catapult was shattered pretty quickly. Unfortunately, Kura'u revealed there are still 5 more catapults that the Kai army has to keep on throwing prisoners across. And so begins a battle between Jae-ha and Kura'u. He is quickly aided by Shina and Zeno, who come to help. The battle's kind of even. Zeno gets skewered, but he's immortal, he'll be fine. Meanwhile, back at the general's camp, Guntae, after Soo-Won announces his plan to just, rush at Kai, ignoring the prisoners, Guntae makes a plea to be allowed to go in and save them, working with the people of Awa, and announces his kind of resignation from war in the aftermath of this betrayal of Soo-Won. Which causes Soo-Won and Kye-Sook to be sort of shocked at how Guntae is acting in the debt of Hawk and Yona. That's where we leave off with this sort of Guntae announcing what the narration describes as his last battle. Whether that's because of death or retirement is a whole other question. But yeah, with that said, let's dive right on in chapter 221. We have the magazine cover here. It's cute. It's Yona in this sort of sakura tree background. It's getting to spring. And we open with a black background and a board with soldier pieces on it. It's not really chess or shogi or anything, but sort of the vibe it gives off. Stay calm and look at the board carefully. And it's this it's little baby Soo-Won and Yuhan, as Yuhan teaches Soo-Won his sort of theory of war. Don't think of them as people. Think only of how to advance your pieces. Yeah, with a dad like that, I mean, we've seen how, we know how Soo-Won got so fucked up or whatever, but with a dad like that, why wouldn't he? That's just sort of that's definitely a way that's definitely a lesson that you have the ability to teach a young child. I'm not sure it's the best lesson for a 10-year-old, but okay. Don't be afraid to use fear or deceit if needed. Discard the unneeded pieces, even if it's your friend. And the way we have that one, even if it's your friend, as the background fades back to white, meaning we're back in the present, makes me think that friend line is meant to relate to Guntae. As Soo-Won in the present remembers that if you don't, it will be the whole kingdom of Koko who will suffer for it. As someone tells Soo-Won, Your Highness, chapter 221, Where Our Hearts Belong. And Kye-Sook tells Soo-Won, shall we deploy the archers as planned? The dragons and the captives are still there. And Yona is not enthused at learning that they're planning to just, rain arrows down on their allies. But Soo-Won tells him, move according to the plan. And that shocks the soldiers. As Kye-Sook says, but if we lose the dragons... And maybe those soldiers are worried about the captives, but the past several chapters have made a big deal of emphasizing the dragon's symbolic role in the Koko army's morale. And so maybe they're a little shocked to even have the idea of potentially harming the dragons. Given the way that they've been presented to the army. But Soo-Won just tells him, thinking back to what his father said, there will be no change of plans. And we see Yona is, to put it mildly, less than enthused at this news. And we have this diagram of the army, which is kind of the first time we're really seeing exactly the shape of all this. And we see both armies are it's not quite triangular, it's kind of a rectangle with a triangle on top. The force of the South Kai army meets at a point with the Sky Tribe army, with the Earth and Water tribes on either side of the Sky Tribe, and the Fire and Wind tribes are gonna flank the army according to this chart. But we see the archers are on the outside, are between fire and earth and water and wind. And the ones between fire and earth will be shooting their arrows right where the dragons and the captives are, according to this chart. Also, Judo's just, like, fighting right in the center of the whole conflict. Like, good for him. But Soo-Won thinks, in order to avoid clashing with the enemy's army straight on, the archers will rain down arrows from a safe distance from both sides. The wind and fire tribes will circle around and break into the enemy flanks. If we falter, we will fall. Our long journey puts us at a disadvantage. We need to hurry. No changes in the plan. And we have this throb sound effect. I feel like that might be tied into his illness. I don't know. Something about the long journey puts us at a disadvantage line with Soo-Won's general physical illness. I think Soo-Won might be doing a little worse than he's letting on. And then we cut to Yona, thinking back to when she first heard that Hawk was gone. The name of the person that went missing is Hawk. And then she thinks to herself, I won't let anything else be taken away from me. And flashes back to what Guntae said last chapter. I will not get in the way of the battle. I beg your acquiescence. This might actually still be Soo-Won's thoughts. Because he flashes back when, like, Yona's tears as she begged him for help in finding Hawk a while back. The bit where, like, Soo-Won was shocked in himself at how long he was, like, staring at the map to work out where Hawk might have gone. With her, please, let me look at the chessboard carefully. If I can subjugate the Kai kingdom, I shall accept my death willingly. And I do kind of love this image of Yuhan and, like, baby Soo-Won both holding that same little soldier piece behind Soo-Won. Yeah, I don't know. I think time really is running out for him, though. That I shall accept my death willingly, tied in with the throbbing on page 8. I don't think he has long left to live. Anyway, we check back in on Kija, who's still got an arrow in his hand, and he, like, pulls it out. Ow! That friggin' hurt! And he, like, throws it away. And as sort of nurses his hand, he gets up and looks around. Has Shina and Zeno barged into enemy ranks? Oh, but then he sees in the dust the archers of Koka, shocking him. And then we cut back to the fight with Kurau, as Kurau is not doing too hot as he tried to pick a fight with Zeno, who can't die. General Kurau! Kurau's on the ground, his bloodied spear is on the ground, and Zeno is, like, kneeling, but he's standing strong there. As the Kai soldiers panic, he's alive! And Kurau looks up at him. Hey, who the hell are you? I impaled you through the heart, didn't I? And Kurau looks at him. He's immortal? Then he's pretty dangerous. Lord Chagall will be thrilled about this one. But what? Okay. So, I think this is the first we've heard of Chagall being expressly interested in capturing the dragons. Maybe we have before and I just kind of missed it. But that seems like new information to me. What was interesting to me is going back to the dignitaries. That sort of, were all kind of just putting on a show, and it was all an excuse for Yona to be accused of killing What's-His-Face and starting this whole war or whatever. But the dignitaries claim the dragons were part of Kai's mythology. That, in the distant past, Kai and Koka were one, and so Kai had just as much a claim to the dragons as Koka did or something. And now we have this bit of Chagall being thrilled about Zeno's existence. Maybe that's all connected. Anyway, Kurau yells, "On your legs, big guy. Capture him." And he looms over Zeno. He's a gift for Lord Chagall. But just then, Kija arrives, I guess leaving those archers alone for now, and pins the big guy to the ground and calls, "Run!" Kija-kun? Jaeha notes, oh, he's not going to stop the archers, he's telling everyone to get the fuck out of there. Because Zeno and Jaeha and Shina, all at the last possible second, notice the arrows raining down from above. And Zeno announces, Green Dragon, the captives! And Jayhawk goes to go save the captives. Kije picks up Shina and books it. Zeno is also running, probably to save the captives too, as the arrows approach. And we hear the cries as the arrows land. And we cut back to Yona. Who is, eyes shadowed, and that sort of manga way of saying, like, she's unhappy with all this. And the soldiers are also unhappy. Specifically because of the dragons. Not the captives, it's the dragons. The 4 dragons! The 4 dragons are over there! Why are our soldiers firing at the 4 dragons? And Kye-Sook thinks, as all this happens, the unease is spreading through the ranks. I brought the 4 dragons to boost morale, but it's having the opposite effect. Princess Yona will not forgive this. Yeah! No shit she won't. This is gonna end badly for you. As Kye-Sook thinks, once again they will break apart. It's different from when King Il was killed. Now, the people who worship King Hiryu support Princess Yona. This was the wrong choice. Okay. So I'm wondering what Kye-Sook is going to do there. Because, I've been pointing out this whole thing with morale over the past several chapters, and the dragons, and how that might lead to Soo-Won not allowing Yona to leave under any circumstances, right? Or Kye-Sook, or either of them doing that. Then, this was the wrong choice, Kye-Sook says. Is that maybe the first time he's ever, doubted Soo-Won's planning? It feels like the first time he said anything like that before. I might be missing something at some point in the past, but it feels like it. I don't know. All interesting stuff. This page feels like it's going to be a big turning point in Kye-Sook's character arc. So, again, another thing to keep a pin on here. But then, like I've been saying all video, Soo-Won's illness is really starting to get to him, and he sways. And Kye-Sook kind of panics. This is bad. The illness. But Yona, surprisingly, catches him with her own body, not letting him fall, even after everything. And even, we still have Yona's sort of downcast eyes, revealing that she's still deeply unhappy about all of this. But she still is going to, do her job. And Kye-Sook is sort of shocked to see Yona still physically supporting Soo-Won, if not emotionally supporting him. The soldiers are as well. And she leans Soo-Won back up, and she turns back to the soldiers and tells them, the 4 dragons are safe. I guess either she's just, saying that so that they don't get, so that they don't lose their morale at the worst possible moment. Or, does she have some kind of, as the reincarnation of Hiryu, she might have some psychic connection to them? I don't quite recall. I don't know. Anyway, Kye-Sook thinks, we've been saved by Princess Yona. And Soo-Won, as he's just, barely able to move, just thinks, I have to get up. But Yona, grabs his back and tells him, if we call your physician now, it will attract attention. You must endure a little longer. And Soo-Won, still through the pain, can only mutter out a, why? As he thinks, why are you supporting me? I might have killed the 4 dragons. And Hawk might also be dead too. And he starts to this black haze covers his vision. No, that's not it. I can't let in these thoughts right now. The 4 dragons. I have to open my eyes. If I can't look at the board, we will lose. Hawk, where are you? Hawk, shut up. Discard the unnecessary pieces. Here's the thing. We haven't really had a lot of Soo-Won Hawk conversations, at all. I'm not sure post-Ill's death they've had a full, face-to-face conversation. They might have had one somewhere, but not really anything emotional or, personal in any stretch of the definition, as far as I can recall. And yet, even above the 4 dragons, even above, the shock that Yona is still supporting him, after what he just did, it's Hawk, whose name he lingers on. I don't know. Another thing to put a pin in. There's a lot of things to put a pin in for like future character work in this chapter. But he shuts all that out. Shut up. Discard the unnecessary pieces. But instead of doing that, he flashes back to way, way back. Before all this began, back when Il was alive. The young, innocent Yona. Soo-Won, welcome. And little baby Hawk, when that time comes, I'll be your right hand. And stand by the two of you until the very end. And Soo-Won just sort of acknowledges in shock. I love these 2 pages together. I hope these 2 pages are a 2-page spread in the actual magazine and in the volume release, so that we have on the right, the young Hawk and the young Yona, as Soo-Won realizes, like, all of a sudden, I can't discard them. But the archers are still going. As the Wind Tribe is sort of generally unaware of the drama going on. As this I always forget their names. I think it's Hande, that's it. So Hande comments, wow, the archers just keep the arrows coming. The enemy can't move an inch. They just have no idea, like, why, like, any of the drama going on, they're fully out of. But Tae-woo thinks, it seems Hawk-sama isn't here. We can end this battle sooner than expected. Okay. Right, because the Wind Tribe doesn't know about Hawk being quote-unquote dead. But I'm curious why that ties into we can end this battle sooner than expected. I would think that if they thought Hawk was still alive, Hawk not being here and make them think the battle would go on longer? But maybe I'm just stupid. I don't know. Anyway, Tae-woo calls out, they finished the barrage. Let's get moving. And Hande calls back, General Tae-woo's giving orders. But the rest of the Wind Tribe is on board. Affirmative. And Tae-woo's just stopped that. It's embarrassing. But with that, charge! And they charge into the Kai forces. That is my medicine alarm. My bad. But anyway, as he charges, I think that's still Hande. No, because Hande was in a darker outfit. This might be, is this Saki? I don't remember anything about Saki, but he's the only person on this known residence list that has the little beads in his hair. He's like part of... Okay, I always thought that Tae-woo and Hande were like a duo. I guess he's part of the trio. I genuinely have no memory of this man at all. But anyway, Saki notices something. Tae-woo, look! And Tae-woo turns to look, and what he sees horrifies him. Is that the Kai banner? I don't know enough about the banners here. Let me see if the wiki has their fucking banner. I don't know, but my guess is that, given, the fear on Tae-woo's face in the previous page, just a whole other contingent of the Kai army. South Kai's flag! Reinforcements? Oh, that's the general that Hawk was sort of fighting earlier. As another Wind Tribe guy calls out, are you kidding? There's so many of them! What do we do? If we charge, we'll just be surrounded! Tae-woo! And Tae-woo is just panicking. He's not prepared for even more reinforcements. And then a messenger comes to Soo-Won. Your Majesty, reinforcements from behind the South Kai army. And Yona's, just stunned. Not in a good place at all. But it's not at that. It's on the fact that, as she thinks, Soo-Won's hand is freezing. And he's barely managing to stay on the horse. Is he about to die? Is Soo-Won about to just pass away right here? But the messenger goes on, what are your orders? Your Majesty, Soo-Won. But Yona thinks what to do. What should I do? But then we come to the general from Hawk, whose name is, I forget his name, but I just read that line. What is his name? I'm going to see if I can wiki it real fast. I don't remember. But the general from several chapters ago. And he's apparently beaten Hawk, because he still has the senjuso bag. As he pulls out the senjuso, oh, this flower is already useless. Which, that's bad. That's real bad. That was our only way to save Soo-Won. But now, that's gone. Anyway, the general goes on. It seems that General Kurau's army is going to be defeated soon. Geez, and I wanted to return home quickly. End continued on March 19th. Okay. So, I'm going to see if I can find whatever last chapter we saw this guy in. Because it's been a while since we've seen him. Where was he? Trying to find him. Here it is. It's in 219. And when we leave, we just sort of leave him with the general threatening desertion on Hawk. That's the last we see of them. And so maybe Hawk has sort of, joined the South Kai army just to like fuck it up from the inside or something. I don't know. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see on that next time. But this chapter, it's a lot of character work going on here. With Kye-Sook, sure, but especially with Soo-Won. As Soo-Won, in this moment of like absolute crisis, realizes that at his core, he cannot discard those relationships. He is not the sort of cold, unfeeling general his father always wanted him to be. He, as he says, can't discard his memories of Hawk and Yona, and by extension, I think the Four Dragons, which is sort of the more immediate issue here. Which, assuming Soo-Won survives all this, will be very important going forward. But right now, that's not exactly a guarantee. Because, he is surrounded. Or he's not surrounded, that's not the right word. I mean, the Wind Tribe right now is kind of surrounded. But he's dying. He is pretty much near to death. Yeah. So that's, we'll see if he survives. I'm hoping he survives. That's something Soo-Won is one of the more fascinating characters, is one of the most fascinating characters in this manga by far. And I hope he's not just like, illnessed off in the middle of this like character arc for him. And also even like Kye-Sook. We have this important page 18. As Kye-Sook sort of, for the first time, realizes that Soo-Won made the wrong choice. And actually, looking at that line again, I'm looking at the sort of chessboard metaphor and Soo-Won's final realization on page 24. It's interesting that, like, for all the Soo-Won faction talks about the right choice, as we have this little flashback with Yuhan, don't think of them as people, think only of how to advance your pieces, discard the unneeded pieces. If you don't, it will be the whole kingdom of Coco who will suffer for it. That's, that was what Soo-Won did. And as Kye-Sook acknowledges, that was distinctly the wrong choice. And, part of it is that I don't think Yuhan, in his teachings, ever really considered the role of morale, in battle, as Coca is distinctly seeing here, that morale is so important, as Kye-Sook has sort of been reaching that realization all arc. And so I'm curious where Kye-Sook will go from this. And I think it especially depends on whether or not Soo-Won lives or not. I don't know. There's a whole lot of just really interesting character work going on here, and I can't wait to see it play out. But before that, there's some more some more South Kai troops. It's Kaji was his name. When I went back for 219, I looked at his name. So he's here. The senjuso is supposedly useless, though I suppose it's possible Kaji doesn't really know what the senjuso is used for. He might have just been looking at it as like a beautiful flower, and is just not really a beautiful flower. But yeah, that could be bad. Lots of things that could be bad. I'm glad it's only 2 weeks to the next chapter, because I really want to know what happens next. But yeah, lots of character work, and all in all, real good shit here. I cannot wait to see how all this plays out going forward. So with that, I'm going to leave this video off here. Hope you'll enjoy the chapter and the video itself. If you did, feel free to drop me a like or subscribe, or, do whatever makes you happy, And as always, your life is your own, okay? Bye!